Welcome everybody
Welcome,
to another
everybody.
episode here on the O'Shea Duke Jackson main channel. I'm your host, O'Shea Duke Jackson. Just about 2 days removed from being in Africa, man. I'm back here had in Poland. I had a really great time out there. And today we are blessed with another special guest, man. Live from Mombasa, Kenya. Now, if you do hear an echo, it's coming from, we don't know where it's coming from, but it's on his end. But we have the very talented, but yet the very controversial Amen Rahh. Many of you
Yeah,
people know who
but
he is.
man, Rob,
He's
many of
the
you people
brother
know who
that's
he is. He's the brother that's
let me put him back on mute.
let me put him back
It's
on
still
mute.
echoing there.
It's still
But but
echoing.
but he's a brother that's from Los Angeles, but he's been living in Kenya, I believe, over 22 or 23 or 24 years. So we have the topic today. Africa has the real wealth, and Negroes don't get it. It's something that he wanted to put. We want to talk about. It's a little derivative of a title. So let me introduce Amin Rahh back to people today, live from Mombasa. Amin Rahh, thank you for coming onto the platform, brother. You take yourself off mute.
Oh, okay. All right. Thanks for letting me go back on your show again.
All
I'm
right.
here at a new location,
All right.
so it's a bit noisy, but I think people they get tired of seeing me in the same place every time. So I'm here at my wife's hair salon. So
All
it's
right.
about eight,
All right.
around 7:30 in the evening here. So she should be winding up soon.
Okay.
And but anyway, it's a big place, so we can. I've got a little corner. We can talk.
All right. Uh, uh,
All right.
Amin
Uh,
Rahh,
uh,
kind of tell us a
I'm
little bit about
I'm in
yourself
Rob. Kind of tell us a little bit about yourself.
and how long you've been living out there in Kenya.
Oh, okay.
How
Um,
long you been living out there in Kenya?
I've been living in. I came here on a fact-finding mission to see what Africa was about. That was in '96, and I ended up never leaving. I never went back to the U.S. When it was actually time for me to go back, and I just decided that I was going to spend that plane ticket money on traveling to different African countries, and that's what I did. And I've traveled to 6 countries, and I came to realize that Kenya was the best one out of the 6. So that's uh, that's how I got established here. I'm a black belt grandmaster in Mantis Kempo Karate. So I have an organization, and we just found out that our martial art is now the largest practice martial art in Kenya. And I'm now doing a digital education with the government primary schools here, where I'm taking the content from the syllabus and digitalizing it and utilizing the government tablets, uh, putting a program on the government tablets to allow them to do lessons and revision online. So I don't know. That's a quick synopsis of what's going on now. I'm just off work about a few hours ago, and I just decided to come down to see my wife, and I guess we can do the show from here.
Amin Rahh,
I'm in Rob.
let me just mute because it's echoing there.
Let me just
Let me
mute
just do
because
this. Amin Rahh, we were talking a little bit earlier. Obviously, you're on YouTube. Shout out to Brother Nana Welbeck for the $10 super chat. Uh, Brother Amin Rahh, it's your position. And I want to read the title that actually you chose, but I just kind of switched it up a little bit for um, YouTube purposes. Who's got the wealth? A game we are losing. Shout out to Rob Parks. What up, family? I ain't forgot about you. What do you really mean, brother Amin Rob, when you're talking about a real wealth, a game we are losing? What do you mean? Who is the game we are losing? Can you go ahead, take yourself off mute, brother? I put myself on mute. Who is that that's losing, brother?
We're losing. We've been losing since the 1800s, and unfortunately, whites, have been playing this game, and for many years, like we not even realize that the game is on the table. But if you really analyze the situation and you look at it from that standpoint, who's got the wealth? It's a game that whites have been playing on us, and they've been making sure they keep that wealth away from us. Because otherwise, if we got the wealth, we could get everything. So the all of the politics and all of the things that's been going on is always about who's got the wealth, because they can't outrun us. They're not stronger than us. They're not smarter than us. But they do know that if they keep the wealth in their hands and keep the wealth out of black people's hands, then they can control us.
Amen Rahh, let me ask you this.
Hello?
I'm
Yeah,
around.
can
Let me
you hear
ask you
me?
this.
Every time I'm
Yeah,
talking,
can
there's
you
a
hear me?
feedback
Yeah, I
on
can
your
hear
end.
you.
Let me
Every
see
time
if
I'm talking,
let
there's
me
a
see if the
feedback
other
on
people
your end.
can you guys hear the
Let me see.
feedback on his
Let me
end?
see if the
Hold on a second. Do you guys hear feedback?
you guys hear feedback.
Comment in the chat.
No one hears that feedback.
Comment in the chat.
All right. So
How
let
about
me
now?
ask you this, Amen Rahh.
Is that better?
Let me ask you
All
this,
right, let me hear
Uh
you.
huh.
All right. Let me.
Okay.
Okay.
Who African Americans have been in America for over 400 years. So let me do this. Let me mute you again real quick. Okay. So that's can you guys still hear it now? So echoing, it's on okay, because I have him echo. Can you guys still hear it? I don't hear it anymore. I think it's on his end. So let me know right now, guys, because I have him muted. Do you hear echo? I don't hear it anymore. Can you guys still hear the echo? I only see hang up. It's fixed. Okay, it's fixed because it's coming out on his computer. Okay. So Amen Rahh, you're saying that African Americans are losing out on the real wealth, but African Americans have been in America for over 400 years. How are we losing out on wealth when we were never in Africa in the last 300 to 400 years? Go ahead, Amen Rahh. Respond to that.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I'm getting your question, from understanding your question correctly. I'm saying this is what's going on in the United States.
Okay.
The game is being played with blacks, Americans, nothing to do with Africa. You
Okay.
see, what I'm talking about is our people have been systematically kept away from being wealthy, and in
Okay.
fact, that is if you look at the situation from that point,
Mm-hmm.
everything that whites doing from the way they were hanging us in back in the day. So if you look back in those old pictures of where they show brothers that are hanging by trees, they show us hanging like this. What they were doing, they were not hanging the workers, the regular slaves. They were hanging those guys that were merchants, those blacks that had businesses. They were systematically hanging them, and then taking over their business and their land. So you can go back and look at those pictures, and you can see many of those guys that are hanging from the tree are wearing suits. They're wearing nice clothes. They're not
Okay.
wearing the field hand clothes or slavery clothes. Some of those guys are in really expensive clothes, and they were snatched, hung by the neck because whites must keep the wealth from blacks. So the best way to do that is to kill off any entrepreneurial type black person that is inspiring towards wealth, or undermine him in some sort of way. And that is what the game is: keep the wealth away from blacks. This is why they bombed Selma. This is why, I mean, not Selma, but this is why they bombed Black Wall Street.
Mm-hmm.
It's a matter of, if we get wealth and we have an ability to get wealth, then we can really even take control of this country. But they have been playing this game, whatever it is, to say keep the wealth out of black people's hands.
Okay, let me do this real quick, Steve. Let me do this real quick. Amen Rahh. For whatever reason, people cannot see us on the YouTube Hangout. So let me just do one thing. Let me leave and come right back. So you just stay right here. So I'm gonna just
Okay.
do that real quick. See this. Can people see me now? How about now? Let me.
How's that?
I've
See me
now
now.
left
How
and
about
came
that?
back.
I've now left and came back.
All right. No. Let me see what's going on here.
All right, no,
Nah. This is Mr.
no, this
Hangouts
is
on air. All right. So what is your solution to? You still can't see us, and the echoing in your on your end is real bad. So we won't make this a long show, but let me ask you this, Amen Rahh. What is your solution to
Uh,
this?
my solution is that uh, blacks in America need to seriously rethink modern Africa as an option for the problems that they're facing in the U.S. They're continually facing these problems, and this is the case. You know, it's just like the same thing here with Facebook banning Faircon. People became upset about that, but that's all they're going to do. They're going to get upset, and then what? We don't have the ability to have these type of programs on our own. And while we're in America, it's such a doggy dog country. You really don't know who you can trust. So automatically, the black man a long time ago did realize that okay, I can't trust anybody, and he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't do that. And this is what happens. Now, when I say people say, okay, all blacks gonna come over to modern Africa, no, that can never happen. Blacks are not like that. We travel alone. We're independent type people. That's why you see one black person to come, but he won't come with a group. See, they don't come in groups. They come like one, two, three. They're not like whites. So a brother will come on his own. He'll make his own decision. That's why I'm saying that when you look at these, like you were saying the other, this thing about the chat room, people not gonna like me, blah blah. Oh, people gonna say that blacks can't do. It's not like that. It's one individual somewhere is listening to me, and he has this idea in his mind, or this is resonating with him, or it's touching him. So he's saying, "Oh, let me look into this." Maybe this brother might have something that he's saying that it might be a bit truthful. Of course, it may be. He don't trust me that much. I don't blame him. But I've been here 22 years, and I'm telling you from my 22 years of experience that it's no. If you were here, you realize that you didn't have. There was no reason in the world for you to go stay in America,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're at retirement age, because your money is like will be 3 times as much money. So this idea of us sticking with America, being patriotic with America. We're the only ones that's doing that. Whites are leaving, So it's like if you ain't got money, I don't even understand why you can be patriotic to a place where your family, your mom, your grandpa didn't have money, your mom didn't have money, you don't have money. See, that's generational racism, where they just each they got a system in design that to just remove the wealth from our hands, and especially make sure it doesn't pass down from generation to generation. So, and if you want to have something that we can be proud of in the United States, because right now, what can we really be proud of? You see, so that would mean that we'd have to leave the country and find some place where they're not playing the game of who's got the wealth. See,
Mm-hmm.
go ahead.
So how can you get real wealth in Africa as an African American? I mean, can you cite me examples
Okay,
of African Americans coming to Africa and gaining real wealth?
okay, I'm telling this is what I'm saying. You got to get rid of the myth and the mindset that you have about Africa. I'm talking about modern Africa.
Okay.
Okay, that's the one thing. I'm talking about in the city, not the rural area, where they like to put all the TV shows about Africa. They always put it like they're running around with the animals. But Africa has a very vibrant urban populations. As you know, 6 out of the 10 fastest growing countries were in Africa, and this is a continuing, and it's a continuing on a rapid rate. So you got to get out of that mindset. Listen, Africa is number one. It is the richest continent in the world.
Hmm.
It is the richest continent. Leave about China, leave about Russia. If you go, Africa has more wealth than Russia and China combined within its grasp. It's only a matter of people coming together and you know controlling that wealth and utilizing ways to to better people's lives with that wealth.
Okay.
And this is what the African is doing with the free trade uh, the free trade area.
Okay.
You know, like 54 countries now, not 54, 44 countries have signed on to the agreement that they're going to do trade with each other as opposed to doing trade outside of the continent. This is a game changer in Africa. This is what the African is doing right now. While we're over there putting 6 bullets in Nipsey Hussle, the African is here. African heads of states are meeting and saying, let's all work together. I'm not going to charge you to bring goods across my border. You're not going to charge me to do goods across your border, because the Africans know from Kwame's original plan, Africa has to be one. Africa has to be one if it's going to be competing in the world economics. And right now, Africa is doing that. The
Uh,
African countries, they understand that they can't do it by separation. If
okay.
the Berlin Conference separated all the African countries into different countries,
All right.
and that made us weak. But now we're going to become strong because we're going to come together. And I'm so proud to be a part of that here now while I'm watching it before my eyes. You see, so don't tell me about the Chinese being in Africa. That's just bullshit. You know, don't tell me about America can come over to Africa and take control of it at any time. That's just nonsense. This all propaganda lies they're feeding you people in the United States. And if you really knew the truth, you wouldn't even be talking such things. You just because it's just foolish.
Okay.
3.5 million Chinese in America. They got 40,000 in Kenya, and then you're gonna try to tell me that the Chinese are taking over? It's never
Uh,
gonna happen.
uh,
The president of Kenya and the president of China both got on national TV. You can go look it up on YouTube, and they both tell you nobody's doing that. We got a good agreement. How long
okay.
has they been going? How long has the agreement been going? 18 years.
All right.
18 years. What the Chinese waiting for if they're not taking over by now? Didn't take America, didn't take the West. No time to come try to colonize Africa. Joking.
Okay. All right. So Amen Rahh, let me let me shout out to the brother in the chat. You guys still can't see us. Something's going on with Google Hangouts. Glenn Gibson says in Kenya, Black Americans cannot own a business unless a local owns 30% of that business.
That's
Please start
bullshit.
please start criticizing black governments in Africa too. If
Nah, that's
Georgia Bush,
nonsense. That's
it's not
nonsense. This is all sideshows. We can't own land. Like you gonna come on, like you gonna land in Africa and you go first thing you gonna do go buy some land. That's silly. That's ridiculous. Even in the United States, you can't buy houses nowadays. That's almost impossible. The economic situation is terrible. But when you come to Africa, Africa is a large place. You come to one country, you might decide you want to go to another country. What are you gonna be doing? Buying houses in every country? No. Be sensible. If you're a business person, there ain't no rich person that ever said, "I got rich because I bought a house." No. So that's just excuses. You come here, you start a business, and then you run it like that, and you grow your business. Nobody gonna tell you you can't own your own business. That's ridiculous.
okay, so let me ask you this, Amen Rahh. If the Africans are having trouble managing their own resources, because if the wealth is in Africa, then the question is, why aren't African countries wealthy? Because I would agree with you. The
Is this
reason
coming from somebody? Is this somebody coming? Is this coming from the chat room? Is this because that's I don't know what they're talking about. How they gonna sit up and say I'm trying to tell you that 6 out of the last top 10 countries in fastest growing economies is in Africa, and then you're gonna tell me how come Africa is not rich? You're joking.
I mean,
That's what's happening. That's what I'm
if you're
trying
at
to
the
tell you.
bottom, then obviously you're going to be the fastest growing because you have room to grow. That makes sense.
Well, I don't know because the African, if you take Kenya for example, their GDP is around 6%. 6%, and when you take America, theirs is like 1%. So you tell me about what's growing, what's not growing based on GDP. Get serious, man. You live in Titanic. That's going down. That's ridiculous. All the economists have already said it's got growth going up to the next 50 years. The next 50 years, they can see forecast that Africa is going to grow, and there's no turning back from that now. Go look at the African free trade area agreement. African meeting at African Union and saying we gonna all come together and be one big fist, and we're gonna go be the largest trading bloc in the world when all these countries come together in the next 90 days,
All right, let
not
me
even
ask you this.
years.
Let me ask you
90 days from now, this conversation is going to seem so ridiculous to you people because you're going to be talking about Africa is poor, and all of a sudden these people are going to turn around and have free good trade routes going between African countries, and they're going to lock out the rest of the United States and Europe.
Who? Africa is going to lock out Europe. You really believe that?
That's already happening, man. Let me tell you.
Uh-oh.
What you think's going on in France with the Yellow Jacket movement? What you think is going on with Britain crying, talking about we got to leave the European Union just to see if we can make it on our own? They're crying because their countries are going down, and at the same rate that African countries are going up. France can't survive without Africa.
Okay.
It'll go into a third world nation. So you see, that's what's happening. These Franco countries are saying, no, man, we tired of this. We're not gonna give you the money. We're gonna do this money. We're gonna put it in infrastructure, and France can't do anything about that. See, they can come and bomb people a few times like that, but right now, when the people power is too strong, and the Africans is waking up, so that thing is out. Britain long since lost its. Britain used to be the empires. Never set on the British Empire. Where is Britain today? You see what I'm saying? Look at the United States. They used to be so powerful, but now where is the United States heading today? China already surpassed them as the world's biggest economy, but But America keeps putting that propaganda out like that's not true. You see,
Okay.
the propaganda that's going on through America is like, that America is great. But in reality, they get their ass kicked. Getting their ass kicked. Look at that. If you see that the Russians, because I had to talk international news because, they keep that from you. When the news you get in America is not what you get outside. So let me just help these people in the audience there that's in the United States right now. Russia, because, they didn't make no big deal about it in American news, but this shit is frightening. Russia, who used to be staunch enemies with Saudi Arabia, recently had a meeting with Saudi Arabia to make a deal for pipeline. So if Saudi Arabia is the one who has agreed with the United States that they would do all their business in the U.S. dollar. But now they're talking more work with the Russians. You see? So if the Saudis decide that, okay, we're going to allow people to buy oil out with something else other than the U.S. dollar, America is doomed right there. Then this is why, if you hear any little noise in the U.S. about Venezuela, this is why America is attacking Venezuela so openly. It's so obviously that this, it's pathetic. They got to get the oil from Venezuela in order to keep Saudi Arabia in check. And so if they lose, Saudi then already had a meeting with the Russians. Now they together, so you're done. United States done. That's what's happening in international war areas today.
All right, Amen Rahh, let me
go ahead.
ask you this. Okay.
I hope I got the people straight.
Well, I don't know about that, but you definitely have. It would be better if the YouTube wasn't messing up on the Hangouts right now. I don't know what's going on, but let me ask you this, Amen Rahh.
Yeah.
Okay. So the question I asked was, if African countries have had the resources for all of these years, they have raw products, but they don't own. For a lot of people, a lot of people feel that one thing that Africa has a hard time doing is manufacturing stuff on their own.
That's old news. Old news. That's like 20 years ago.
On their own, without the Chinese help.
Listen, don't start talking about the Chinese, because America depends on the Chinese 10 times more than any African country depends on the Chinese. So let's stop that right now. But anyway,
wait. Let's go back to that. How do you say that?
I'm saying that in America, the Chinese own most of their debt. America's biggest debtor is China. So when these people start talking about China and Africa, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. China is doing business with 44 nations now. 44 nations are doing business with China, including Europe. So how are you going to try to tell me that the Chinese are taking over Africa, but they're not taking over the United States? You're joking.
Mhm.
You're joking. They're building bridges in San Francisco. They're building subways in New York. The Chinese companies are building Chinese factories in the United States. So you're not getting the full information. This is just propaganda that you're spurting out of your mind because they keep repeating it to you. So you just
How,
spurt it out. We don't even do your own research. You
how
should
do you
be.
say it again?
I'm saying
Propaganda.
just propaganda nonsense talking about the Chinese are taking over Africa. That's all you can complain about, but that's not even true. They done long since took over the. Look at Detroit.
Mhm.
All the manufacturing jobs. Where did they go? America had all of these manufacturing jobs in steel and in the auto industry. Where did all them jobs go? Did they go to Africa?
Mhm.
Hell no. They went to Chinese. So please don't start talking to me about the Chinese taking over somebody's goddamn country. They
Mhm.
done already put blacks out of business. They already put all the jobs that we used to do in Detroit, the Motor City, all that's gone because all them jobs went to China. So now your best bet is to get a job at Walmart, and they even not even manufacturing. Trump is just on TV the other day talking about trying to revive the manufacturing industries in America. Reviving from what?
Okay.
Reviving because you took all them jobs in Mexico and China. So don't tell me about China and Africa. You guys, you black people,
Oh,
you sit up there and talk that nonsense. You just
uh,
don't know what you're talking about.
Amen Rahh, what is the for the average African American, okay, who wants to come over to Kenya or Uganda or other places? Where do they fit in though? Where do they fit into the conversation in this new Africa, this modern Africa?
Like I Fine, like I said before, and black men that's in the chat room thinking about that, they can bear me right. You ain't never think about coming by with no friend or make a group of brothers to come. When black man come, he gonna come independently by himself. He might not even let most of his family know he went to Africa. And a lot of times, these brothers that got jobs depending on white people, they can't. They're afraid to let white people know that they went to Africa because it could harm their future promotions. So I understand all of that. So they come over here independently, one by one by one. They may meet some girl somewhere. They might come and then hang out like that. But even like with you in Uganda, you don't come with no group of 5 or 10 business guys looking to do business. Now you came independently, and this is our nature. So this thing of find what are we gonna do when we get there? That's each individual brother's decision. But if
Okay.
you come into Africa where there's plenty of growth and opportunity, not like in the United States,
Mhm.
if you're smart, you'll make it.
Okay, if you're smart, you will make it.
Yeah, you gonna have some dumb Negroes come over here talking about, okay, I mean, I'm here now. Well, I should get some money. Well, them the same fools. Them the same fools that's sitting there waiting on reparations. You're never gonna get it. You guys are silly. You ain't gonna never. How the hell they gonna play who got the wealth game with you and then turn
Okay.
around and give you wealth? You're bullshitting yourself, man.
Okay.
Joking. That ain't gonna never happen. It happened when Dr. Claude Anderson tried that same thing 10 years ago, and then
Okay.
it didn't work then. And it's just gonna be a conversation that's gonna quietly die down again today. And then where you gonna be? Prosperity Now is saying that by the year 2053, blacks potential growth will be at zero. Now, come on, if the white man's gonna tell you that you're gonna be at zero, and it's gonna happen a lot sooner than 2050, they're telling you that it's gonna be at zero growth. What the hell are you doing there raising your children in America? Don't make no
Mm.
sense. What the hell you? Okay. Now for those of you that don't have children, okay, fine. But you're gonna die. Your opinion don't count. But the rest of us who are trying to prove, trying to keep the race going, by having children, we're not homosexuals. Then we got to look at it for the next generation. You see, I have a generation where in California they're talking about removing the fact that the KKK existed from the history books. Go look it up. They're fighting over what they're gonna teach on white people. After they gentrify the black community, they put whites in there, and now they're gonna fight over what they're gonna be teaching them history. And look at what they're saying. You see, they want to remove the Ku Klux Klan. They want to put some other group want to put all kind of homosexual what's it called? I forgot what it's called. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. That gayism stuff into the curriculum.
Mhm.
And then another group wants to say that not talk about Hillary Clinton in the history books. This is silly. This is white people. They taking over. We're dying out, and they're taking over, and they're gonna make their rewriting their history for what they want their next generation to hear. They're gonna write us out of like slavery never existed. It was just like something that happened for a minute, then it was gone.
Mhm.
But we was enslaved longer than we've been free. So these many years that we've been free, it was enslaved a lot longer.
All right.
Hmm.
So let me so keep talking. I'm wrong. Let me just go ahead and basically you keep talking. Let me turn my chicken off, brother.
No, I'm just saying that what we get in the United States is propaganda, like 99% of it. I mean, it's not even called propaganda; it's called propaganda lies. And we've been miseducated, and through that miseducation, a lot of brothers still banking on the United States, as if they haven't done us wrong century after century, and we forgive them, or or they, or they go to the next generation and uh, remove that information from the history books. And so, when we look back 20 years to compare, you see it like a watered down version, and this is making us have a poor decision. More and more of us are feeling the pinch in the U.S. Like somebody like me, if I was in the U.S. today, a younger man, I was in corporate America in when I was younger. But somebody like me today could never get into corporate America. The best job would be getting is working at some fast food joint, or some manual labor job, or some dead end job that doesn't have a future. And this is so when we even talk about getting jobs, so many of us are embarrassed about the job that we have, and then yet we still have to almost cut the throat of our own brother just to make sure that we can keep the job and they over them.
So wait a minute, wait a
And
minute.
so
Are you saying? Oh, I'm
we
wrong.
learn.
You mean in America? I don't know if you know what you just said. Saying so, people. Are you saying that you yourself are just black people in general?
I'm saying black people in general
Okay.
know what I'm talking about individually. Where you might be pro-black, or you started looking at this thing about Pan-Africanism, and then your whole job and your whole economic situation is dependent on some white guy. And no matter how you feel about the information you read, you still got to go to work the next day and take orders from that guy. You see, and you might have put yourself in a position where that guy really likes you, or the white guy really trusts you, which is never the case. But you just hoping, because if he's okay with you, if he's smiling and talking to you, then you feel secure on your job. Because sure enough, he can switch and change, and you can lose your job and then be out there on the street. So many of us are just like one paycheck away from the streets,
Okay.
and it should not be that way. If you're talking about America's the great America, it's not. The situation you're in is what would happen to you if you was really in a poor third world country.
Mm-hmm.
The type of jobs that we have are dead end. So you're at 20 years old, 25, no, 30 years old, you got this job, and then next thing you know, 10 years later, you're 40 years old, and you got this same goddamn job. And then there's no way you're gonna move up in that job. That's a dead end job.
So let me
You
ask you
see?
this:
And every once in a while
in
yeah.
America, are
That's what I'm saying.
Kenyans?
This is what they're going through because the country's not growing.
Okay. So in what country? Let's say if I have a dead end job in America and a dead end job in Kenya, which country will give me the highest level of advancement quicker?
It's not a matter of the highest level of advancement. That's American capitalistic concept.
Okay.
What you want is peace of mind. What you want
Well,
is
you mentioned
peace
it.
of
You
mind.
mentioned that, so that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, I'm saying. I know I
Okay.
mentioned. I'm sorry, but I'm saying
Okay.
when you talk about what's the end game, I'm telling you what all of us want is simple peace of mind.
All right.
And when a country is unstable as America really is,
Okay.
you really don't get that chance to get peace of mind. You get some girl pregnant. There's always this chance that she could do this to you. She could do that. You get this girl pregnant. Now the baby comes out. Now you got to find a preschool and a babysitter that costs the same amount as money you paying for rent. You got to drive them back and forth from work and this and that. And then you go and the gas prices are rising. You see, this is not happening in modern Africa today. It's not happening. And a lot of these costs are not there. Like for instance, another example of the many hundreds is the high speed railway network. You see, if people can remember in the 19 well, people can't remember the 1940s and 1930s, America was full of trains. The train was the best way to go. But after what happened was the car companies, Standard Oil, and these groups like this got together and they bought up all the trains and trams to force people to start buying cars. And so the train network in America went to nothing. Okay,
Okay,
so
hold
yeah,
on.
so it's, I'm saying,
Let
mhm.
me ask you this then: what country
Okay.
for African American or anybody, right? If I'm
Mhm.
gonna be in Kenya or in America, which country is more unstable?
America is more unstable, obviously. So I mean,
Obviously.
America is far more unstable. You think of it, yeah, because the direction. If you start looking at graphs of Kenya or or modern African country that's growing, you'll see that it's stable. The growth is stable. But when you look at the United States, you see the growth is not stable because every so often there's a recession. Every so often there's a recession again, anytime soon. In fact, all economists are saying it's going to happen. They just tell you straight to your face, it's going to happen. We don't know when, but it's going to happen. Now, what kind of life is that? You see, you don't have no market
Okay, let me
crash,
ask you this then.
you don't have a market crash in Kenya, and
Okay.
modern African countries don't follow the same capitalistic system as the United States. That's why they had these crashes.
Okay, well, let me ask you this because China, Kenya just asked China for a $3.8 billion loan request. It's been all over the news. It was denied. What's your thoughts about that as far as it being stable then?
When you see that, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. You see, that's what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying about the propaganda that the West don't want you to come to Africa. So they always take these opportunities to come up and make all these fake ass stories. They even buy African newspapers and put these stories in the newspaper. The Uhuru and the president of Kenya and Uhuru did not go to China this recent trip to negotiate that deal, the loan deal. They went for some other reasons, but they used that trip as a manipulation to turn around and say, "Oh, he went there to get the loan, but he came home without the loan." It's like he didn't go there for the loan. You see what I'm saying? But that's just propaganda that they're making up. So you kind of think like, okay, now China is doing them in. No, China even came and said they had already this loan for the second phase of the high speed railway is already a done deal. So I don't, so I was like, what the money they're asking for is another one, another section like a phase 3, phase 4. So people don't understand. Phase 1 is already complete, running, and Kenya has a high speed railway network that's going to go right through the country. And speaking of high speed net railway, which is the biggest loan
Mhm.
that Kenya has with China. Speaking of that, China in 2008 had about as much railway as a trip from Los Angeles to San Francisco. That was in 2008. Today, in 2019, they got the largest network of. I mean, it's just amazing the amount of growth that has happened in this short period of time. This is a 10-year period of time. To get it in perspective, today China has 500 times more high-speed railway network than the United States. 500 times more.
Yo, oh, we know that. That's
So
true.
America sleeping.
Okay, let me read the super chat. Shout out to brother Gregory White out in the building, my brother. Let me read it Nana Welbeck again. I have to co-sign everything this brother has said so far, 100%. I wish you guys could see us, man, but the screen is not allowing you guys to see us. If you can see us, let me know. Shout out brother Ted Randolph. Okay, so good for Kenya on the light rail and all of these things. Let me kind of bring
High
it back.
speed.
High speed, right? Let's bring it back. Why did you choose Kenya? Because I was recently in Uganda. I was in South Africa before. I've been to South Africa many times. Why did you choose Kenya? Because South Africa is, in my opinion, from what I've seen, is way more developed than Kenya. It's like leaps and
I was
bounds.
in South Africa. I was in South Africa. I lived in Johannesburg. It's not about the infrastructure that the whites had created for themselves, but then later on had to give it up to the blacks after apartheid ended. It's not about that. It's about the blacks. Blacks just came out of apartheid in South Africa in 1994.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the majority of those blacks, believe it or not, many of those blacks were just illiterate. Even to this day, the children of the illiterate group is now the ones that are just coming up. They don't value education; they just value survival and trying to make an earning some which way. And you still got a lot of people that are like, blacks that will, and the same in Nigeria. Blacks that if they see an opportunity to make money with a white person, they'll kill their brother. Like, no problem. They'll throw him under the bus. You see what I'm saying? That's where the survival attitude that comes from all of the hardship that they faced when they was in their apartheid. Nigeria is another one. It's just too crowded. You got people giving out babies. They don't have no home training whatsoever. You got like gangs of thousands of brothers that don't have no home training. They just give birth. They come. They raised by this uncle the next minute. This uncle the next minute. You see. So that's why it's hard for. Yeah, Nigeria has all these people, but they can't get off the ground as far as, turning that into positive wealth. The government is trying, but, because of the corruption levels and because of all these many people that they have, it's a struggle. And that's why I chose Kenya, because Kenya got a great balance. Everybody here got a mother and a father, and everybody be running around street, killed whole towns of just kids that's running from in the streets with no parents. You know what I'm saying? This is what's going on in Nigeria. So in Kenya you don't have that. You just have a lot of growth. The government is committed to growth. They have plans. Kenya's economy is diverse, very diverse. When America was in a recession in 2008, I didn't even know. You see what I'm saying? I was in Kenya. I wasn't reading newspapers, and when it came out, people were telling me that the economy crashed. I was like, I didn't see it. Food, everything is still normal in Kenya because they got agriculture. And then recently, imagine they found oil in Kenya, so they're now an exporter of oil in Kenya. And we're the only country that has a refinery in the eastern side of Africa. So, the country is just great. The economic potential is just fantastic, and I'm seeing the growth here like crazy. And that's why I tell people don't go to Ghana, because Ghana's too small, don't have no economic growth pattern, and it depends too much on oil. You see what I'm saying? So the country be unstable. So that's why I choose Kenya.
Oh, okay. So have you've been to Nigeria before? Is that what you're saying?
No, I've never been in Nigeria, and I've never been to Ghana, but I did lots of research on it, and I have people that went to Ghana and coming from Ghana and coming from Nigeria that tell me just what the situation is. Because you see, when I came here, I came on as an investigator. 2005, I wrote a book, Black Man's Guide to Moving and Visiting in Africa. So I did a lot of research even back then, talking to people. See, so I had a brother that I talked to in Ghana, and then the brother told me, look, hey, man, I'm going to just come on over to Kenya because because you're saying it's like that. And he came. And then the second day he was here, he was like, man, Accra is about half the size of Mombasa. And I was like shocked. What? How that it's only two. It was at that time when we were talking with the guy, which is about 8 years ago now. He was saying that there's only two main business streets in Accra. When you come to Kenya, you come to Nairobi, it's just off the chain, man. I mean, it's just people everywhere. 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, people. It's like New York. People busy making money. So that's not the same as in Ghana. And I don't know why they're trying to make it like a city is something that got they got like 92,000 people and they call that a city. That's not a city. That's a town. You go there talking about looking for a city, and you won't even you'll be so disappointed. And without population, there's no growth. there's no job opportunity without people being there. So that's why I choose Kenya. Kenya got like the third country with the highest birth rate.
All right, let me ask, shout out to brother Matt Blaylock. How the hell is America unstable when it's consistently had one of the highest GDPs in the world since the early 1900s?
I'm not even going to answer that question. That's so stupid. All
Why
you
is
got to
it
do is go
stupid?
Google right now.
But why is it
Because
stupid?
it's stupid. Why you going to tell me that America got the highest GDP and you seen the GDP ain't raised but 1% in the last 10 years? So it's just next
Wait,
question.
no. I mean, it's a good, it's a decent question because he didn't say it's not raising,
How
but he said it's been had
the
higher
hell?
consistently.
How the hell is America gonna have the highest GDP, but the black communities are all gone? Harlem gone, Detroit gone, New Orleans gone, Los Angeles
That wasn't his
gone.
question though. Amen Rahh. His question was,
Let's run
how
around
the
all
hell
over
is
the country
America? He
like
didn't say
that
Black
over.
America.
Well,
Hey, come on, you don't want to answer the question because he's not saying it's a valid question.
I'm saying if America was all of that,
Okay,
then black communities would be booming. They wouldn't be decreasing. They're decreasing. Our population in America is decreasing. It's not growing. So how the hell you gonna have
but
growth and opportunity
that
if your
doesn't have
population
a.
is
That's not the question. He didn't say Black America. What he said was, let me read it again. How the hell is America unstable when it's consistently had one of the highest GDPs in the world since 1900s? And you have not been saying Black. You've been referring to it as
okay? I heard
America
you.
also.
I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna say it slowly now.
Okay.
If America is growing, if America is growing, then Black America would also grow. But Black America is not growing. So since this is a black show, I'm just pointing out the fact using the black growth rate as a model. Okay, but America is having problems, boy. You gotta see that. And you know, if you're inside America, it's probably very difficult because they're not gonna put no shows out to tell you the realities of what's going on in America right now. You see, but if you go back to that little soundbite they had when President Trump was in the Oval Office with his puppet president for Venezuela's wife, and the reporter asked him an off the wall question: "What do you think about the Russians in Venezuela?" And Trump got mad, was like, "Russia got to get out." You see, now you right there, you can start to see the reality of the international foreign policy that America has with Venezuela. Just watch. Look at the veins on Trump's neck when he asked that question. Russia got to get out. Get out of where? They've been doing business with Venezuela. You think you're gonna come in and just take Venezuela over and just kick the Russians out? It's nothing like that gonna happen. And the Russians have said it, and the Chinese too. Both the Chinese and the Russians went in and said, "We're gonna help you, Venezuela. Don't worry." So there's not going to be another Iraq for United States in Venezuela. That's just not going to happen. And the same thing would happen in Syria if you guys forgot about Syria. They tried to do the same thing in Syria and they failed. Now they're going to fail in Venezuela. And this is like one of their last hopes. If they don't get that oil from Venezuela, you could be looking at some higher gas prices even more.
All right. So let me see what we got in chat. Guys, you got about 20 more minutes for me, brother?
Yeah, get these guys in the chat room, these knuckleheads. You told me that they were gonna come after me. I'm still waiting.
Okay, so listen. Let me say this real
Somebody
quick.
come up with some common sense rather than come up with these old ass arguments.
All right, engineering cannabis. Hey man, we got to do a show, brother. Engineering cannabis. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Kenya is not an independent economy. When the American economy faced recession, the Kenyan currency value falls. So his analysis is flawed. Hey, that
didn't happen.
You know, it is kind of. I believe the Kenyan. Wait, that's a good point, brother. You don't want to talk.
No, he's not looking at statistics. You know, I'm looking at statistics, and this guy's just stroking over the keyboard in his computer. No, go do your statistics. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
he did not fall into recession. America fell into recession.
Oh,
I'll say it again. Kenya didn't fall into recession when America fell into recession. We hardly felt it over here. You know, this comes from the mindset thinking like America is all of that, and then when America falls, the whole world gonna fall. Nobody. China and Russia is buying up gold like the hell. They buying up gold because when America fall, they're not gonna fall with it. You see what I'm saying? Problems. You think it daydreaming land, thinking that country gonna America never gonna fall. It has already fallen, and when it fell in 2008, 50% of black people lost their homes. People don't want to hear me. 50% of black people lost their homes. And let's not even get into the population situation.
Okay.
The black population is not growing.
All right.
Since go listen to tapes of Malcolm X, go listen to tapes of Martin Luther King when they start talking about the population 40 million blacks, 40 million blacks. We've been 40 million blacks since the 1960s. If your black population is not growing, what the hell can you do? You can't open up no black business talking about I'm gonna hope to be prosperous because not enough blacks
Right.
gonna be your business. You got to grow in numbers, and we are not growing in numbers. And no propaganda government propaganda news agency is going to touch that subject about where are the blacks going. You know, they go, oh, they're in the suburbs now. Nobody, they ain't in the suburbs. You guys is being disappeared. You guys have been taken out. America, its greatest fear is we leave in mass numbers. America's greatest fear is that black people leaving the country in
Okay.
mass,
Leaving the
and
mask
they'd
and
rather
coming
kill
in.
us off in the country. They'd rather kill off in America than allow us to go off in the mass and go join up some other African country.
Uh-huh. Okay. Uh, let me do this for those of you who want to subscribe to Amen Rahh. He has a new YouTube channel. I have already told him I don't think he's going to do so well with African Americans, according to the chat. But he might get a lot of African subscribers. But he might not get too many of us on that chat.
Oh, they can't see me.
Well, they can't see neither one of us for whatever real.
It's too bad
Yeah. So, but guys, go ahead on
because
subscribe to Amen
I
Rahh.
got a new.
You got a new what?
Yeah, I'm in Facebook. Black Man's Guide to Moving to Africa. Now that group has been there for over 9 years now.
Okay.
So we've been doing this for not. We didn't just start this yesterday. So a lot of people that come in with this off the wall propaganda that they just picked up in their head. You have to realize that what America does is they give you lies and then they keep repeating the lies over and over. So when your subconscious mind gets to lie 4 or 5 times, you automatically go, "Oh, it must be true," because I heard it. Oh, it must be true because I heard it. Chinese are running Africa. Oh, that must be true because I keep hearing it. It's because America keep putting that propaganda out there, and then black people with their lazy asses don't even do the research to see if it's true or not. They just regurgitate that information because they heard it on the news or heard it from somewhere. Most of this propaganda when they say, "Where'd you hear that from?" I don't know, but I heard it. Like people said they heard the thing about blacks having zero wealth in 2053. They didn't know who said it. See what I'm saying? So I was asking who said it. Who said it? Nobody knew. See, I had to go out and do the research and find out. Okay, this is what this group did this survey and realized this was going to happen. And I read the survey, and like 80% of what they're saying is probably basically true. I didn't agree with all of it, but I'm saying I did the research, and so therefore I feel like I'm informed.
Okay. So Doug,
But somebody
Doug.
else just get on here, yeah.
So let me.
That's what I'm saying. My channel is valuable because I'm here in Africa. So what you guys are talking about over there at your keyboards in Nashville, this is Negro logic. And you gotta get away from that Negro logic. Okay, it's time for that to end now, and stop listening to these Negro logic people that come on there talking, making cracking jokes on the keyboard, because they trying to make you laugh today, but you're gonna be crying tomorrow. Especially if Saudi Arabia switch their ass and go to Russia, that's gonna be overnight.
All right. So let me all right, let me do this real quick. Shout out to Doug. Doug says if Kenya is so great, why does the average citizen only make $4,000 to $12,000 a year?
Okay, that's a good question. I don't know if that's the same Doug that's been supporting me on my channel. Peace out,
Yes,
Doug.
that is the
Peace.
same guy.
So okay, because he asks good questions. My my
Okay.
uh my rent is around $60 a month. You understand what I'm saying to you?
Mm-hmm.
In US money. Okay? So I got a big back, I got a big front yard, I got, compound, all of this. But you see, the money in Africa is different. Now people can come here and they can live like an African and you can live well. I think O'Shea can a bit of test it. If you want to live like an American, you can live well. It's going to cost you. But
Yeah.
if you move your standards down a bit, it's going to cost you less money, and it's going to be when they come up and say, so and so lives on an African lives on $1 a day. They're just trying to make you feel like these people are poor. But shoot, somebody got $1 a day in certain parts of Africa. Damn near that's good.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So the money exchange rate is different, and you got to keep that in account. So, for instance, if you're a retiree and you get a pension check for $400, and you
Okay.
get a Social Security check for $600. So do you know you can come to Africa with $100,000 shillings a month. Now, when I'm telling you, I'm paying $60 a month for rent of a one bedroom house duplex. Imagine what you could do with 100,000 shillings. You understand what I'm saying? So you guys are up there in Pennsylvania, New York, in the eastern side of the United States. You freezing your ass off 3 months out of the year for no reason. You can come to Africa, weather is beautiful all year round. You can be having the beach, and you can be having your money is like it's triple. You see, so it doesn't make any sense. It's just that the propaganda lies is making you not see that. I know personally Black Americans who live here, retired school teacher, live here off her pension and her Social Security money, and she killing it. She got a car, she got a luxury apartment. She can go where she want, do whatever she want. You know what I'm saying? She live right down the street from the mall. She can walk to the mall, hang out. You know, beautiful life, beautiful life. You see what I'm saying? Window, her living room window faces the ocean. It's just beautiful life. You know what I'm saying? But if you ask her how much money she spent on her apartment, I think it's like $245 a
Mm-hmm.
month. You see? But she living in a luxury apartment. So you gotta stop listening to what the United States is telling you. The American put the exchange rate so that whites can come over to Africa and be rich, and we can do the same thing. You know, until as long as it's gonna last, but it ain't gonna last that much longer if you don't hurry up and make the move, get yourself established in an African country. At least take your kids for education here. Don't spend your money on college education in the United States. And homosexuals all in through colleges now. Colleges are black historical colleges are losing money. They're allowing pedophilias to come into the schools. There's a school in New York, totally racist. They had an influx of 680 students, and only 7 of them were black. They only allowed 7 blacks to enter. So this racism is not going to end. You know, and we don't have wealth to build our own universities to educate our own people.
Okay. But it's your opinion that this is definitely
Look how
going to
long
happen.
Dr.
Wait. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, definitely no. If you just follow history, you can see obviously it's going to happen. I've been
Mm-hmm.
following history for 9 years. I've been saying it's going to happen. What they did with the dollar is pathetic. You know what I mean? They're going to take the dollar off the gold standard, then they're going to turn around and back it on this, and then they're backing it on nothing but a promise. And remember, that America lost its AAA rating status 3-4 years ago. But they didn't put that in it. They didn't make no big deal about it. Let Kenya lose its status. You know, by the way, Kenya is not a third world country. It's a middle
It's
income country.
it's not a third world
Just
country.
like it's a middle income country. Yes, it's a middle income country now. So, and the status of these African countries is going up, but at the same time, America and Europe are going down. Go look at
Okay.
Italy. Italy been in a recession for how long? For one whole year.
Yeah.
All
Italy,
2008,
Greece, and
Italy was in a recession. Did you
but
hear that
okay.
in the news? Did they tell you about that?
But
No, they
the
don't
thing
tell you.
is,
And that's the 5th largest economy in the world.
all
I
right.
think it's the 5th or 6th largest economy in the
Yeah.
world. Now,
It's the
come on,
largest
now, if the
economy for
5th
sure.
largest economy in the world is getting sick and dying like that, we won't even talk about what happened with Greece. If they're getting like that, and France has got yellow jacket people beating up, bombing the people every which way, you know, imagine. Have you seen the go Google the Yellow Jacket movement and watch some of them RT videos of live coverage of how they doing, what's going on in Paris every weekend, and then you go tell me that the trouble in Venezuela is worse than that, and that's why America needs to come in and try to do regime change in Venezuela because the Venezuelan people are suffering. Yet When you look at the video in France, they're bombing, burning cars, doing all kind of things to the country because they want to maintain the status that they had all their lives from generation to generation. But Africa is now no longer playing that game, so the French economy has to go down. See, with China coming into the picture too, doing business like that, no way. And you talking if you people were listening about 5G network, let me tell you the true story.
Okay. Yes,
Yahweh
tell us.
invented 5G network.
Who did?
Yeah, I mean Yahweh technical the biggest tech company in China was able to come up with the 5G network before the United States. You see, so now America got scared. They got arrest the CEO of Yahweh, the security, as if you so smart. America was so smart they'd be able to override any kind of
Right.
problems.
I think
But
it's
they're gonna try to
Huawei.
convince
Yeah.
people not to do business with Yahweh. While Trump gets on
Yeah.
TV and says, "Oh, we're gonna have a 5G and 6G network," he say, "No, buddy, you ain't got shit now. China already got 5G, and it's slapping America's face. Europe just went and did a deal with Yahweh after America said nobody do business with Yahweh. You see, America can't do what it used to do in the past. You know, that's what's going on internationally. While they putting football and basketball on TV for you Negroes to watch, this is what's going on outside. You know, so Europe, and these countries, they're saying that, hey man, you can't give us no help,
Do you have a
and that's
techno
true.
phone? Do you have a techno phone? I know it's real big and
I had a
popular.
techno phone. I had a techno phone as my backup phone. It was really nice. It finally
Okay.
got worn out, but I used that as my backup phone. I never had any problems with it, until the
Shout out to
last,
all the people that use
until
techno. Who uses techno phones out here in the chat, man? All my people that use the Chinese company, you don't see them in America, but they're all throughout Africa. Look at Doug. Shout out to Doug. All right, I won't keep you too long. Doug said if he moves to Kenya, can he bring his pit bull? Oh, shit.
I didn't hear
Can he
you.
bring, can he bring his
I
pit
didn't
bull if
hear
he moves
that.
to Kenya? He said, can he bring his pit bull if he moved to Kenya?
Okay, well, there ain't gonna be no dog food in the supermarket that you can buy. Africans don't have no. We don't deal with dogs here. Thank God. I'm glad. My neighbor got some dogs that I really like. Damn, I never knew how much I hated dogs barking. You know. But dogs are rare, and I'm saying in Mombasa, I don't know. Maybe some parts that I've seen people with dogs. In fact, my daughter's guy. My daughter got pregnant. She moved out. I guess she's married now. In fact, she showed me some pictures of her guy, and the guy has two really nice looking Rottweiler dogs. So I guess they're there if you want to. I don't know what they feed them because there's no dog food on the shelves in the supermarket.
Uh, okay, let me ask. So basically, JB, thank you, brother JB. He says U.S. gives millions of dollars in aid to Kenya every year. Is Kenya helping the USA or is USA helping Kenya?
That's a lie.
Amen Rahh would be
That's a
more
lie.
believable if he would bring
That's a
facts,
lie. That's
not
all old
rhetoric.
propaganda.
So Kenya does not, US does not give money to
That's
Kenya.
old propaganda lie. Let me help you. That's lies. In fact, if you go back and look at what America does, they got a little trick they do. They come and they're going to say, we're going to have this project. We're going to be American project. America's going to invest. America is going to invest 50 million, 50 billion, 50 this, $40 for 1,000. They make all out of the project. This is what they did in the dam in Congo. America funded the project, was going on, and when the Azan Dam came up for when President Kabila said that he wanted to add some extra wattage to the dam, America just pulled out. No explanation, no nothing. You see? And so the largest dam, which would have been the largest dam in the world, America was funding, they just pulled out of the project just like that. The World Bank. But everybody knows, even if you're listening to them talking about that in Venezuela, the World Bank and the IMF are all run by American bankers. It's not nothing worldly about them. They're always following the United States interests, and people are tired of that. And nobody does business with the wild. I mean, African countries have stopped doing business with World Bank and IMF because they are, they're only out to exploit. They don't know how to give a loan and be satisfied like with the Chinese. Chinese give low interest loans, give you a long time to pay, and it's okay. You see what I'm saying? But the IMF had kept Africa, including Kenya, and I was a witness to it. They had put so many conditions on the loan that Kenya couldn't even pay for its to upgrade its public school system because they had to put that money towards paying the IMF back. But today, Kenya is offering free education, and they put imagine these tablets, huh? Big ones, big tablets, to all public schools, public primary schools in Kenya. Every Kenyan school now has electricity. So remember, don't think that America is it's lies. When you come break it all the way down, look what happened when WikiLeaks came out, and all those lies were exposed. So Kenya had to kick the ambassador out of the country because it was like the guy going around to all of these meetings. They let the American ambassador come into the private meetings of these politicians, to the State Department. So when the emails came out and they realized that this guy was dealing like this, they told him you got 2 weeks to get out of Kenya. So don't tell me America's running things or America can give out loans. That's lies. Kenya is the largest trading partner in Africa. 70% of Kenya's business is done with China. Where was the World Bank and the IMF then? Huh? Why America? Why can't why Africa?
Kenya is the largest
Why
what in
Kenya
Africa?
won't go do business with YMF and World Bank? Because that's the case. Go listen. Go Google them. They're just criminals lying all of that stuff, talking about they're gonna give out money and they don't never give out money.
Hey, somebody said you need some Huawei internet, brother.
It's now 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock where I'm at. So it's peak hours.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Well, I won't hold you too long, man. That's all, so listen, it's always unless you have something else
Okay.
you want to say, brother. You know what I mean? To the people, tell them about your new channel, man. What's your new channel about, brother?
Yeah, well, I would like people to come out and support me at the Amen Rahh, Amen K Rahh YouTube channel. We got a new channel, Black Man's Guide, but I don't know how to work it. I feel like I don't have any views there. But what you're gonna get from me is the facts. You're gonna get the facts on the ground. So you got a Black American sitting here in Africa, and able to give you all of the real deals. If you people that want to do that, I know psychologically a lot of people want to say uh, Africa versus the United States, and they're on the United States side over Africa, so they gotta keep on giving all these negative comments about Africa. But if when you finish doing that, you gotta step into the real world. You have to look at your situation. And far as every which way, Africa is better. Look at our health in America. People dying of cancer, people dying of so-called AIDS, which is not real. All these other diseases, and we're the most chemically prone people. Drug companies are filling us full of drugs in the food. Come to Africa. The food is fresh, air is fresh, so you can live a lot more stress-free life. Let's look at education. Okay, we don't even talk about education because American education system, everybody knows is in a disaster. They're trying to do all these different things with charter schools. That's a failure. Blacks are being given education with history books that don't even talk about all the things they need to talk about. As far as black people are concerned, they're writing us out of the history books. Even to today, even in 2019 books, blacks are still complaining that we're being written out of the history books. So education wise, black people we're being numbed down, losing our identity. What else? Manufacturing jobs in America is going down. General Motors just laid off so many thousands of workers. Trump is trying to fix that, but
Okay.
these jobs in China ain't gonna come back. Chinese ain't gonna leave China and come back to America and go work at some factory. So what's gonna happen? You know what I'm saying? And Americans now have been forced because of the recession, been forced to take lower paying jobs, and so they're trying to find other ways to make more money. therefore your chances of reaching American because it's growth. I mean, imagine America's population is basically the same since the 60s, but the Kenyan population since has doubled in the last 25 years. The population has done it. You know what I'm saying? They gotta grow because people are many. And as long as the people are many, is growth, prosperity is gonna be there. You know, if the Western countries stop meddling in African affairs and stop putting out so much negative propaganda about the country, about the African situation that's happening, then you're gonna definitely have growth.
So, Amen Rahh, let me ask you this real quick. It's a known fact that in Kenya, men are committing suicide at a higher rate in certain parts of the country. Um, there's been documentaries on it. Why do you think? And a lot of those guys that are committing suicide are talking about because they have lack of employment. There's a lack of opportunity in certain places, and they just can't. And it's been real high.
Now look
They'll
at
they'll
that. That's just see, that's what I'm saying. That's just like they used to do the thing with the Chinese. Now they're gonna start talking about blacks that Kenyans are
these
committing
are
suicide.
these
That's
are these are
nonsense.
Kenyans that are
You
putting
guys
this.
just
Like,
recognize propaganda when you see it. They're gonna tell you anything,
but these are Kenyans that are doing
huh?
this. So you're talking about people who are actually from Kenya that are saying this.
Nah, buddy, no. You see, now don't get it twisted. Now you said this reports, okay? I don't see how you gonna have a country that got all this growth and the people gonna be dying on happiness. This is just Western propaganda try to take your mind off of what's really going on. They want to make you think that you happy in the United States while Africans are killing themselves, and you feel really good when you see some shit like that on the news. Not realize that that's just nonsense and propaganda.
Why is it nonsense? It like
Ain't
some one
nobody
of the brothers.
committing
Okay,
suicide here.
even JB said this. JB said, next time bring facts and stats. Any argument against Alman's talking points is called propaganda. Amen says something, then it's called facts. Amen Rahh, why is it that why is it the case, brother? When somebody says something that you don't disagree with, it's automatically propaganda. Why is it that?
Okay, let me try to put it like this to you. Let's take a look at some of the facts of the reality so we can look at it.
All right.
America, is it growing? No. Is the black population expanding? No. Are they imprisoning our people at high rates even though the crime rate is low? That the incarceration is up. Concentrate. Think about that. How you gonna have a low concentration? Crime is low, but the incarceration, people, imprisonment of blacks is up. What does that mean? Think for yourself. It means that they're arresting and imprisoning innocent people. So these are the facts. But anyway, to get back onto my point, if you look at all of these statistics where they're telling you that these African countries are growing, then where did they get this idea that the people that got all this growth, Kenya got so many new millionaires. You see, there's so many new millionaires in Kenya. Now, where's all this growth coming? That people are deciding that they're gonna kill themselves because there's no food, there's no water. This is just a Western propaganda. They're always trying to make you see like the people there are suffering and you're better off where you are. Now, when you get past that point, because there ain't nobody you seen come to Africa and tell you that come back to America and say, oh, it's really poor. It's true. There's poverty everywhere. Nothing like that. Poverty
Okay,
is in the
so
United States. You're driving around under the freeway, underpass, seeing all them goddamn tents, and then you're going to act like you don't see them? Come on. People
okay,
is
so let's do this.
homeless. Situations getting, yeah, 70%
Uh, all right.
of them tents belong to black people. So you need to
So
wake up and smell the car. Ain't no goddamn tents in Nairobi. Ain't no tents. Ain't no poor people on the street dying, starving, don't place to go.
I'm a rock. So in
So
Kenya,
that's the reality. If you
they
can't
added.
see that, then
There's according to these numbers I'm looking at, there's 9,500, 9,400 millionaires in Kenya. There's 134,000 millionaires in Chicago. I mean, in Chicago's a fucked up city, right? How do you explain that? You have more millionaires in Chicago in one city
Chicago. In one
than
city,
the whole country of Kenya by almost
the whole
17
country
times.
by almost 17 times.
How do you
Then
explain that?
stay your fucking ass in Chicago then with all that gentrification and other stuff that's going on. Stay your ass right there. Huh? Don't let me get started on Chicago.
Get
Please.
started, man.
Don't
Get
let me get
started.
started on Chicago.
You got 5
Don't let
minutes.
me
Go
get
ahead.
started on Chicago. No, you guys is joking. The blacks is it was 40,000 blacks was leaving Chicago every year. Damn. You see, the whites are gonna gentrify that place too. So when you start talking about Chicago, you got to realize you a minority, buddy. So don't start talking about those millionaires like that means black people is in amongst that group. We got 0.1% of the wealth. So all the millionaires you talking about, they ain't black. Okay, let's talk about the black millionaires compared to the Kenyan millionaires. Then come talk to me. Hello, I can't hear you. Huh?
Well,
How
see,
many?
something
How
is
many?
not. I mean,
How many?
even the
How many
Kenyan.
black millionaires compared to
Well,
how many
how
Kenyan
many black
millionaires?
Kenyan millionaires? Because there's a lot of Indian Kenyan millionaires.
No, I'm not talking about Indians. We're talking about black people only here. I'm saying that we are being the ones that are suffering. You own 0.1% of the wealth, and y'all gonna start holding up white people, millionaires, and try to tell me, look what we got, look what we got. Like the white people gonna give you their money. Who got the wealth? That's the name of the game, buddy. Who got the wealth? So you sitting in America talking about, look at my country. You see what I'm saying? And you ain't own shit in the country. That's what I'm saying. You don't know nothing. You can leave today, and the economy won't fall, won't feel it. Huh? Chinese, the Mexicans, the Haitians, they all got more money than you. You don't see the game that's being played, and you're gonna talk about go Google something about how many millionaires in Chicago.
Okay.
That's jokes.
So do you
You ain't
think
got
that
no
there are
money.
more? Do you think that
You
there
ain't
are
got no
more?
money.
Let
That's
me
what I'm
ask
saying.
you.
Blacks don't
Do
got
you
no
think
money,
there
and
are more black?
everybody in the world know you ain't got no money.
Okay, let me do this. Do you think there are more black millionaires in America than
In
Kenya has
America,
millionaires?
and
You better think
I'm
about
saying
that.
that the millionaires that are. I'm saying that the millionaires in Kenya have. The millionaires in Kenya have peace of mind. They own their own goddamn country. They own their
So
own
they're more.
military. They
So they're
own their own
more.
stock market. They own their own industries. So they got their own country. What do the
Okay,
black millionaires in America got? They don't own their country.
they got
They don't
millions.
have no country. They got millions of dollars with this white man's money. And let me explain this to you slowly so they can understand. Because
Okay, all
I
right.
used to have some money when I was in the U. You, the higher you go up the economic ladder, the less blacks you see, the more whites you got to deal with. If you like Oprah Winfrey, she can be a billionaire, but most of her businesses got to deal with white people, not black people, because we don't got no wealth. So she cannot be too pro-black because she fear of the people that own the business that support her businesses that are owned by non-blacks, and she's got to deal with them. You understand what I'm saying to you? Because business, whether you do it at the lower end or at the higher end, deals is based on relationships. You understand what I'm saying to you? So if you're a minority in that country, you got to get along with whites if you got any hope of being successful. See, that's why your so-called billionaire Michael Jordan is quiet. Tiger Woods quiet. All these black athletes quiet because their money depends on white people. Now that's not peace of mind. You know what I'm saying? You can go here in Kenya and find a brother that got all this land, got all these people working for him. He's got billions of dollars. He owns his own country. My God. You know what I'm saying to you? But so many of these Negroes in the United States, they think they're Americans. But how can somebody treat you for 400 years like that, give you less than 1% of the wealth of the whole entire country, and you talk about that, I'm an American. You're not. You're just an African stuck in there. You know, Malcolm X told you clearly, you're just a victim of America. You ain't no American. But some of you fools think you came over here on the Mayflower. Just jokes. Until you get the reality that you are not an American, you are an African, then things start making sense to you. But you can't come, I'm an American, and then you go outside and the policeman pull you over and shoot you in the head, for a traffic ticket. You can't understand it. Well, but you see, that's because you made the mistake of believing that you are an American. So no, you just playing like an American. But when this economy falls, I know all of you guys gonna be over here. Oh shit, call him back on the show, call him back on the show. We need to know how to get there. Yeah? Man. I mean, it's not. I mean, you might hear it before, but I mean, if you go just simply do the history, you see. And I don't know why blacks want to identify with a country that's gonna put pedophilia in the school curriculum. This politician in Europe is talking about lowering the age of consent to 10 years of age. That's what's happening in Europe. You know how it is.
Wait,
People
wait, wait, wait,
sick.
wait, wait. 10 years of
But
age?
you got black people that gonna go to Europe. They go, yeah. I read that. I don't know if it's true, but I read that where a politician was saying they're gonna make the consent level to 10 years old. So all these old white nasty ass guys can go butt fuck these poor little children
Okay,
and
okay. We can't say
get
that.
away with it.
We can't say that. Amen Rahh on the stream, brother. We can't. The white man still
Oh,
has
sorry.
his. Yeah, yeah. We can't be
Oh
saying
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. That's right. Yeah, so YouTube.
Yeah. So we.
Okay, I'm sorry, YouTube.
God damn.
Homosexuality is illegal in Kenya. When it wasn't on every TV show, when they didn't have TV shows with that in it, it was, they can remember that time. You can come to Africa to be the same way.
Oh man. All right. Well, I remember. So let
Yeah.
me. Let me.
Well, I ain't in America, so.
All right, y'all. So that's Amen Rah's YouTube channel right there below. So guys, shout out to Amen Rahh. We got a lot of shows coming up tonight. We got the Brother Pill. I know I gotta get caught up. But shout out to the moderators. You guys, next month, moderator awards, Black Manosphere Awards. Thank you guys for being patient with me, man, this year. But we're gonna come back. We got the Manosphere Awards coming back, moderator awards coming out next month. We're gonna do it again. Big awards, voting for your favorite moderators, favorite Manosphere people. So hope to get everybody involved. Anything else you want to talk about, brother Amen Rahh?
Yeah, I ask people that to come on over to Facebook, Black Man's Guide to Moving to Modern Africa, where we discuss and point out a lot of the things here. You want to know about the facts of it. I know I'm not 100% right on all my facts, but the signs are clear. What's happening in America. And if you scroll through our Facebook site, you can see a lot of the things that would make you see that what's happening to we can't do shows like this from Africa and get super chat. Super chat is not allowed. It doesn't work in Africa. So like brothers like me who come on the show and try to do these shows to try to inform our people report. But if you come over to my Facebook group, I would appreciate it. You can see that we have what we call the African Super Chat. I think it's there right on the top of the group site there. Where you can support me and allow me to continue to come out and give out this information and help a lot of brothers who I know that are making a plan to come to Africa, as well as those people who have questions. So I'm always available for that over there in Black Man's Guide to Moving to Modern Africa on Facebook, and I'm just trying to build up my YouTube channel as well, so you can see the same thing there. Anybody that wanted to show me some love, you can go to www.wave.com, look at the video, get the phone number, you send the money, it comes to me instantly, like that. $1, $2, $3. That's a lot of money when it comes across the other direction, and it will inspire me to continue to bring out this this information.
Okay.
Hello.
All right. Well,
And
brother
I want
Amen
to say
Rahh, you know,
I appreciate O'Shea. I appreciate you, O'Shea, for allowing me to be on your show, man. So much.
yeah, we gonna have to use the phone next time
Yeah.
because the computer
Use
is
the phone next time
uh
because the computer
echoing.
is
So he's created a
I'm seeing you.
African.
I'm seeing you perfectly clear.
Yeah,
African.
but you know it's been echoing. But anyways,
Yeah, but
guys, we got a lot of good shows
been
tonight. We
echoing.
got
Anyways,
some
guys,
changes
we got a
coming
lot of
up.
good shows
I got a
tonight. We got
video coming
some
up from
changes
my
coming up.
King Ganda
I
on
got a
this
video
channel.
coming up from
So
my
again, thanks
Uganda
again,
on this
Amen
channel.
Rahh.
So again, thanks again, Amen Rahh.
Uh,
Okay, thanks for having me.
peace out, brother.
Peace out, brother.
Okay, peace.
All right, y'all. So that was interesting, guys. So, anyways, let me just say this. So for the rest of the month, um, I'll be working with Solo TV 84 brothers. Me and Solo are gonna put together the Manosphere Award starting in June. We're gonna combine it. Last year, what we did was we had the moderator awards separate from the Manosphere Awards, but this year we're gonna put it together, and then at the end, we're gonna maybe like at the beginning of July, we'll do some things for Black YouTube. It won't be as big as the Manosphere, but we want to do something for the brothers, for the Black men. So we want to get all the people around. You go to negromanosphere.com. You guys can vote for your favorite Black YouTubers. We send out the plaques. Shout out to plaquemaker.com. So we sent out a lot last year. I think Doug took home like 2. Alan Roger Curry took home 4. And then I'm gonna start doing it every month, like moderator of the month, something like that every month. So we're gonna start doing that, trying to build the community up. I'm excited about, favorite podcasts, I have my editor's choice awards, the Rumble Awards, stuff like that. So it's gonna be pretty fun. So guys, I can't wait to see what happens on the moderator awards. Doug probably gonna take home a lot this year, but what I do every year. Last year I get the top 10. We'll probably do like the top 7 or 8 this year. Top 7 or 8. So I got a new episode coming out of King Ganda on this channel today with some big booties called What's Your Bride Price? So we'll see if you brothers like the episode today. If you like it, we'll start filming more stuff. But guys, thank you so much. I know you brothers is interested in getting some of them African women. I'm gonna do that for you guys. So peace out to everybody. What up, Juan Kajuki? Juan Jiku Roki? Yeah. She she always in here, man. So peace out. Peace out.